The hosts of this podcast are members of UNLV Rebels Can. However, any views expressed on this platform, including the promotion of cannabis consumption, are not associated with the University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
Yeah. Some gems out there, you know? Yes. Absolutely right.
So, where's my...
I quickly scrolled past it. I was like, because I saw like the beginning of a joke. I scrolled past. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna like laugh, 'cause, you know, even when things are funny, I may not laugh, you know. Like,
okay.
Yeah. Just generation.
Ready?
Gap.
You ready for my joke? Okay. What do you call a pothead with two spliffs?
Double jointed.
You scrolled past it.
I saw it. I must have saw it. No, I didn't think I saw it, but like my eyes must have read it. My eyes must have read it. I must have saw it. I didn't think I saw it because I was like, what do you call it?
With it too.
So I saw it. Yeah, I saw it because I'm sorry. I really thought I didn't.
Literally a chance.
I really thought I saw it because like, and I was like, I didn't see it. But, and then when you said that, I'm sorry.
Anyway, that's fine. Okay, I'll go to better joke next week or next month. Okay. Well, anyway, welcome to another episode of the CannaCampus podcast. Some new voices, including mine, I guess. I'm Jordan. The current director of this podcast, so you'll be hearing my voice.
Woo woo.
Often. If you don't like it, you should probably, I don't know, get over it. But this week we've got Tess. I keep saying this week. It's this month. This month we have Tess to my left. Hey Tess.
Hey.
What do you do?
What do I do?
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Tess.
Well, I'm an accounting major.
Ooh, that sounds hard.
Yeah, it can be.
Lots of math.
Lots of math. Well, not really. Accounting, you don't really have to be good at math. It's
Is that a misnomer? Why?
Well, because you're not really you're dealing more with like taxes and filling out paperwork and using computers to do a lot of that for you. So it's not like
so it's like computer.
You're not
science.
doing algebra or using all these different like equations.
It still sounds hard. And taxing.
It's time consuming.
Equations, you say?
It's taxing.
Yeah, there's not like really a ton of that. It's not like when you go to algebra class. It's more about learning what goes where and organizing costs and supplies and all that.
That still sounds
And
hard.
not to mention, the accounting is a big thing with the cannabis thing.
Well,
so.
that's what I want to get into. Hopefully apply that, because before I was wondering, well, what are these businesses doing? Because they can't keep their money in banks, and how does all that work? And so that was kind of part of the reason why I joined this club, was to see if I could find out more about the business and the finances of it, not just being a budtender. And so
it's like Fancy Nancy. I feel like. Are you gonna be my accountant then?
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I have like no money to account for.
Okay.
But
Well,
you can be my accountant. All right, and back again. Second episode.
Woo-woo.
Our fearless leader.
What's up, guys? Yep, it's Deuvall, aka the Vegas 420 runner. Back at you guys one more time. Happy to be with the squad today. We got an all new cast over here. And this show is going to be awesome.
I believe it. Speaking of awesome, the fourth member of the crew today, Karina.
Hello, you guys.
Hey,
How are you?
Well, how are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here. I'm very excited right now. I've never done this before, so this is
Me either.
first time.
Me either.
First time thing. And
Yeah,
this
we're
is a
we're
great
all
start.
throwing it out there. So, what's your major?
International business.
Okay, we got international business major. I guess I forgot to say I'm an anthropology major, Spanish minor. More about how that goes together later, I guess. I don't know. And
Oh yeah, I forgot to journalism and media studies.
perfect. Perfect. So since Deuvall ruined my joke, we're just gonna move right
Sorry
on
guys.
with-
I thought I didn't see it, but I think I did.
We just want to talk to you guys a little bit about like the mission
Or maybe I
of
heard
our
it or
podcast and like why we're here. And we're obviously college students, but we're also people who incorporate cannabis into our daily lives. We want to communicate to you guys that cannabis is a legitimate industry and we really are the pioneers, and there's so many career opportunities available for college students, and we are even incorporating cannabis into our academic experiences and our internships and assignments and whatnot. So we encourage you guys to do the same. If your college doesn't have a cannabis club, start one. We did that, and look where we are now. We have no idea what we're doing, but look where we are now.
It's a start.
It is a start, yes. We are students who take our work seriously. I take my work very seriously. I don't think anybody pays a whole bunch of money to go to undergrad or graduate school just to fuck around. I don't know. So we're just out here trying not to get F's so that we don't waste our loan money, basically. But at the same time, get on this cannabis train that is moving very fast. So we just want to talk with you guys about that and share some career opportunities, share what the club is doing. What else? Anything else?
And yeah, guys, we want to incorporate your ideas too as a listening audience. So if you guys got some ideas about topics, or questions about, how it is with cannabis in college and doing both at the same time or anything like that, feel free to reach out to us, on social media. We got an email.
Yes. You can send any of your emails to CannaCampusPodcast@gmail.com. CannaCampus podcast@gmail.com. So keep in mind that is not concrete. That name came off of the dome like super quick one night. So probably smoking too much like sativa. But we can amend that. If you guys have any ideas, shoot them our way as we're listening. We'll circle back around to that at the end too. But we're just trying to get this thing going. So moving on. What are we smoking on this month, guys? What are our faves? What have we picked up? What's the cool jams? What's the hot gossip? That's a Migros reference. Okay.
So let's see. I love GLP stuff. They're
Elaborate. GLP. What does that stand for?
Green Life Production.
Yes.
So they are all organic cultivation. Their stuff is really good. They actually also farm with their own it's like flowers, organic products in the broom as well, so that's how they keep it organic. But I've been trying to pick up just some pre-rolls so I can try them out first. I love every product of them. It's very really smooth high, I would say. My favorite is the strawberry cough.
I love strawberry cough.
Super good.
Shameless
And
makes
then,
some strawberry cough sometimes.
So 9-pound hammer is always a good one
9 pound
for that late
hammer.
night smoke.
Oh, the late night smoke.
Yeah.
Woo! Anyway, what else?
I started smoking Harley Storm, which is like a
Is that a
low.
CBD strain?
Yeah, it's like lower THC, but still has it, and then
Higher
high
CBD.
CBD, and I really like it for during the day because it doesn't make your head kind of fuzzy. It's not so much like you're relaxed, you're stress free, but you're able to get stuff done,
Right.
and you're not in pain if you deal with chronic pain.
What
so.
kind of percent? Like what? Like Do you remember like what the ratio was?
Oh, I'm not.
Next time.
Next time I'll write that down.
You were like too relaxed. It was too good. I'm always team sativa. We'll talk more about like how we personally relate to cannabis later, but I am team sativa personally because of ADHD. I have a tendency to be very distracted, but there's a lot of misnomers about ADHD, and I'll go into that at a later date, but it's definitely my all-day smoke. People tend to stick to sativas in the daytime, but what I brought to this particular session is some Island Sweet Skunk.
I like
skunk
it.
number 1 phenotype. Everybody,
Really
Yes,
good,
yes,
yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Very
Yep.
uplifting.
Like
super larfy.
Larfy.
I don't know.
That is a word I stole from a friend of mine that just like totally fits. Larfy.
Larfy.
I don't know,
Okay.
you don't know what that means, but if you guys get your hands on some Island Sweet Skunk, think about the word larfy and see if it applies.
Who's the
It's like-
cultivator on that one?
That's a remedy. That's a remedy
okay.
product.
Ah, nice. Now, for me, I was going to say that last time we met up, we had the lemon...
It was lemon kush.
Yeah,
Yeah. I love lemon kush.
Yeah, I was liking that.
Really, I've had like no bad lemon kush. Like I love it all.
Do you guys like the hazes too? Like
I love a
Afghan
haze. Yes, I love
I
a
don't
haze.
like hazy.
Really?
Hazy stuff, no.
I love a hazy.
Not
I
really.
like a hazy,
the
skunky
haze.
kind
And,
of.
like for me, that one's just good for just kind of like relaxing at home. Like
I feel like
you
that
can still
one
do
kind of
stuff,
clouds
but-
me up, like a hazy one.
Yeah.
Like literally gives me
It's
the
like a
hazy,
hazy.
like
Yeah, but like if you're just watching TV, you got nothing really that you're having to do.
That's true.
Like,
Yeah.
Well, I
it
mean,
won't
like
necessarily
being able
put
to
me to
smoke
sleep.
and like just watch TV in general, regardless of the strain, is the best. That makes the Real Housewives a lot more interesting. But all right, so those are some of my faves. I think Island Sweet Skunk is always going to be in my rotation. If I had like had a backyard and I could have my pick of maybe 5 strains, I think Island Sweet Skunk would be my top 5 for sure. So now we're going to move into talking about the State of the Union. So we went Nevada moved from medical to recreational and medical on July 1st, 2016. It was monumental. There were fireworks. There was people,
The sales started
were
July
crazy.
1st.
The lines were crazy.
I was
For a while. It was wild. So those of us...
I did go to check that out. I didn't stay to
was
purchase
crazy.
anything because everybody was telling you in
no,
advance
for real, it was wild.
that you go ahead and get your stuff because people were saying it was going to sell out. So if you were a medical patient, you had your card. They said before July 1st, you better go get all the stuff
Yeah.
that you need to get because it's going to be long lines and all this other
People
stuff.
were stocking up.
Yep,
Getting
stocking
a whole
up.
bunch of stuff. Like, I don't want to be like the next page.
Yeah, when I was
People, like, come
working
on.
as a Budtender, the line was long.
Insane.
So
Did you work that
long.
day?
I did.
Yeah.
I worked.
Did you work that
I
day?
did,
Oh,
yeah.
you guys worked on July 1st.
Yeah, within that whole week, I think there was a line just throughout the whole dispensary. Like the lines would not go down.
I
What were
seen
the
that.
tips like and stuff?
I think it was pretty good. I mean, the
First
highest
of all,
one was,
people
like,
are broke. Literally, just because it was July 1st means nothing.
Okay,
People
so
still
you
said,
didn't-
"What's your cheapest gram?" that was the hot special of the day.
they were
What's your
generous
cheapest
with
gram?
tipping.
No.
Oh wow.
No. People were really, because I think also, I mean, you got to think about the demographic that's buying it around that same time. A lot of sneakers were coming out for the summer, and it was just it was a bad time. Well, maybe it was a bad time for people in my demographic because weed and sneakers.
Priority.
Yeah. But anyway, we're gonna talk about the laws because I don't know where you listeners are. You could be anywhere for all I care or know. But in Nevada, when they passed the laws saying that recreational usage was illegal, they said that we can't smoke outdoors. It must be in a private residence. But this is Las Vegas. Who are we kidding? Nobody brings their private residence with them. Everybody's on vacation. So isn't that dumb?
And
That's so
this,
dumb to me.
a lot of the profits from this whole industry is going to be coming from the tourists and the tourism.
Yeah.
A lot of the ways that this is kind of situated is for the tourists and the tourism to spend a lot of money there. And like she just said, they didn't bring their private residents with them when they came here on vacation.
To give you marijuana and then to not give you a place to smoke it is kind of...
Yeah, I was.
I want to know. I'm not a tourist. Obviously, we're not tourists. I really want to know what people are actually doing.
It's really interesting when we bring it up this topic. I was working also on the Strip for a pop up, and every single. I think I answered this about 6 times when I was there. People would come out and they, hey, can I smoke this here? And I would have to let them know where to smoke it, and at least 6 people told me if they can smoke it outside. So,
And then you got to remember, like, before, I don't know if everybody's lived in Las Vegas their entire life or whatever, but people that haven't lived here, they have a different perception. They think, you know, when they get to Vegas, it's just open
titties and ass.
Yeah. So they think it's crazy, and so they imagine like lighting up a little bowl or a little joint. That's not going to be a big deal, you know. And
it's still against the law, people.
And people, Nevada citizens, might not even know this themselves. So people from out of town, damn sure don't know.
Right. But playing the dumb tourist is definitely what I would do.
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting anything, but you know what I mean.
Right.
But the next thing on the ballot is going to be whether or not we're going to have lounges that people are allowed to smoke in, which I think would be so cool, first of all. How freaking dope would that be?
Yeah.
To have like a literal lounge. It can't be, so far I've heard that you can, I don't know if this is true or not. I haven't done that much research, to be completely honest. This is totally just hearsay.
Right.
But they can't be, like, you couldn't buy from the dispensary. The dispensary and the lounge would be separate. So you buy your stuff from the dispensary, literally go next door or whatever, and there's your lounge, and you have to bring your own stuff, and
there'll be no purchasing at the lounge, you know.
BYOC, bring your own cannabis.
That still seems like
super
it would be
cool.
Yeah, I mean, and it has so much potential. I mean, from like doing stuff too, like having restaurants, or I mean, what if you like bookstores even that you could do with coffee and like incorporating that? I mean,
and the thing is this:
blowing up Amsterdam, just making it a little more nude.
And if we have an issue with public use, because I hear a lot of people talking about they smell it everywhere they go.
I've been smelling cigarettes my whole life. Suck it up.
Yeah. So if there is an issue with public use, this is the perfect way to kind of
give people a space
situate
to smoke it. Because to make it legal and you're trying to bring in tourists, but to not give them a place to smoke is just crazy.
I think it's bizarre. And I think they know that, but I just think, I mean, I don't know, Nevada legislators
So yeah, that's an ongoing discussion that we gotta keep our eye on and everything. And during these discussions, people have an opportunity to address these politicians during the public comment.
Right.
You know, it usually at the beginning. These are things
that we could get involved in, guys. Like, everybody's invited to this kind of stuff, right? Anybody
can go to this, and it's not only happening in Nevada. These similar kind of meetings are happening all over the country, in your state. So, figure out what's going on, and there's going to be meetings that you can attend to be more informed and stuff.
This is the kind of stuff that is really happening right now. The world is changing super fast. This country is changing super fast, and we have an opportunity to be a part of it as like young college students, like while our faces are still ready to be on the front of these posters. Come on, guys. This episode of the CannaCampus podcast is brought to you by RedefineCannabis.com. As a college community, fighting the stigma and negative stereotypes associated with cannabis is one of our greatest challenges. Stoners get good grades too, right? Want proof? Visit RedefineCannabis.com for films and blogs written by students just like you who combine cannabis and curriculum. RedefineCannabis.com. Redefining cannabis and the people who use it by way of athletics and academics. What was that you said the other day at the meeting about the girl how do we find out about the meetings in Las Vegas? What was that girl's Instagram or something, you know? Becky?
Cindy Brown.
Cindy.
Yeah,
Becky,
Cindy Brown. Yes.
Yeah, Cindy Brown on Facebook.
Yes.
And she has been keeping up on the latest meetings. So if you want to attend one, Jesus Christ.
Wait. Just let that go past. No one is.
Something's happening, guys. It's probably nothing.
We'll
It's
chop
probably,
that out.
I don't know. Las Vegas emergencies. It really could be anything. They're heading towards the strip, so. Yeah, so what is her name again?
Cindy Brown.
Cindy Brown. Facebook. She's got all the latest info. We're going to be sending a representative of Rebels Can to those meetings. So we're going to be on the up and up of what's going on about these lounges, guys, and maybe we'll, like, future, like, think about that, like, future, like, live podcasts or meeting people at a lounge. It won't happen unless you guys
Yeah,
know.
exactly. You know, we're recording an episode from the launch, the day one when they opened the cut the ribbon.
Yep.
We're there with our microphone on location, and we're getting our cannabis. We're going into this lounge, and we're all sitting together. We got that mic here. We're live streaming it on Facebook and YouTube. And
does YouTube have live stream?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that brings us to our joint discussion. I need that.
Sound effect.
Yeah, where's that
sound effect? We got it.
Googling that next. So this week, we're gonna start with something light. Our topics can really range anything. You guys can shout us out topics. Send us an email about a topic you guys want us to talk about. Otherwise, it's just gonna be coming from us. But this week, I wanted to get each other's opinions on just some basic stuff and our preferences for consumption. Like, what do we like to do? Do we like flower? Do we prefer vaping? Are we edible people? No. Are we edibles? No. Do we prefer edible? I don't know. Whatever. Do we prefer edibles? Why? Just kind of get a feel for it. I feel like I'm really not passionate, but I like my ways and methods of consumption the ways that I like them for a reason. I feel like everybody does too. So my opinion, I'm like a 90% flower, 10% dabble person. I love the ritual of smoking flower. I'm somewhat of a spiritual person. I say maybe a lot more than I admit. I don't know. So I ritual, and that kind of ties into anthropology and my love of culture and all that kind of stuff. Making it a part of my life and breaking down the flower and really touching something organic. This sounds like super hippie dippy. I'm not that much of a hippie. I have on Nikes, guys. But I do love that. So I'm a flower girl. Karina?
I like flower too.
Yeah.
I like my joints all natural.
Yeah.
Paper, just the flower. I
Yeah.
can really taste it.
Ooh, taste.
The taste.
Yeah.
That's
I don't know. I'm taste. Maybe I have a bad tongue or something, or maybe I feel like people hype up taste, or maybe I'm just crazy.
But sometimes can you tell when it's like noticeably tastes good?
Yeah, but I feel like it's so rare across the board that when we're talking about individual strains against each other, the variance is so slight that I'm just like, how are we talking about this like it's food? Is it just me?
No, because it's the same thing with wine. Like a regular person might just be like, this is sour, but then somebody else will be like,
this is cheap.
This is like pear and you know what I mean, with a dash of spice or whatever. So,
I think that
the palate is more learned, more exercised. I don't know what goes in wine. Okay, so I was trying to think of some other combination because I know it's about food combinations.
Yeah.
When you're doing wine and the way you sell it, you know, you're thinking about what are people eating when they consume this wine. Where are people at when they consume this wine? That's what these marketing people are going to be talking about for cannabis. What are they eating when they drink this? Because it's the food combination with the cannabis.
Yeah.
Where are they smoking or consuming their cannabis at? What locations? And so that's all something that goes into the marketing side of it.
But go ahead about keep going about
Tinctures. I love tinctures. Also like
Tincture.
CBD tinctures or that 1-to-1 ratio.
Spell
with the
that word
THC.
tincture. People are just
CBD.
people have a hard time with that one. Tincture. And what is a tincture, Karina?
A tincture. Let's see. So
TINCTURE. Tincture.
It is. Let's see. It's a liquid, so it's
It's like it comes in a dropper kind of thing, and they use the word sublingual.
sublingual.
Yeah, so I mean it just means underneath your tongue. So it's a different way to consume, but that palate underneath your tongue is so sensitive. That's why you want to put it underneath your tongue and you let it soak in. And that's how you're consuming the THC. Right. There you go. Hello.
That
Science.
are right next to the
Science and accounting. You're just so smart.
Yeah, so it makes it easier for your body to absorb quickly,
That's it.
and it gets into your bloodstream.
There you go. Boom.
So,
It's just like putting something on the back of your knee because the skin is thinner. Your body's going to absorb it faster. We recommend a lot of that for topicals and stuff.
Now, one of the things that sublinguals I try sometimes is the Trokies.
Yeah.
And you just put it right down in your cheek right here,
Mhm.
and it just dissolves by itself.
Mm-hmm.
I keep hearing about that brand, but I've never tried.
They're like these little lozenge things.
square
Square
jellies.
things.
Like
Yeah.
square jellies.
Okay.
They're really, really tiny.
They are really small.
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
That would be something, yeah. For you,
Investigate
and they
that.
have some where they put melatonin in it for like sleep and whatnot. You should look into those.
Yeah.
But yeah, Deuvall, what are you?
I mainly go for the flower. I like the flower. That's always my first choice. I generally like to smoke out of a bowl because a lot of times I microdose or I take a puff and then I got other stuff that I got to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I take a puff or two and then I'm busy for
Same.
a while, you know, and then I might. And sometimes I feel like when I roll up a joint or something, I gotta.
I'm committed.
Yeah,
I'm like stuck.
Yeah.
It's like why I don't like to go to the theater or anything live. I feel like it's so much pressure for me to like act right for like an hour and a half. Like I feel like if I'm smoking a joint, I have to finish it. I have to sit there until it's gone.
Yeah.
And who has time for that?
Right. So I go with the bowl, small bowl and stuff. And now I also do love edibles, particularly at nighttime when I'm at home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, once I got kind of my stuff done for the day, and I know that I could have an edible and continue
Seriously,
working until I'm tired enough to just doze off.
Slip into a coma.
You know, and
Yeah.
so I work a little bit more, and then I slowly go to sleep.
Yeah.
And even if it's a high dosage, I like to eat a high dose. I guess not a high dosage, but I like to eat a lot. Try to get a high dosage because I know I'm going to bed and going to sleep. And now a lot of people always tell me that they don't like edibles because the next day they feel all that. But I don't really get that. Yeah, I don't get that.
I don't get that either, and I also feel like my edibles tolerance is definitely tied to my flower tolerance. Or maybe I just my whole body metabolizes stuff fast because when as soon as I start consuming an edible, my body gets used to it. I have to like keep buying.
Yeah.
And like I'm upping my milligrammage every time, and at this point, at the rate that I smoke, I need like 120 milligrams to feel something. And it's just like, who has that money?
But
If it's not, that's what I was. Go ahead.
Well, eating the edibles though, it does kind of create a different chemical reaction when you eat it instead. So like you can have a tolerance to flower, but not
Cue all those sad sob stories about people in Colorado and those Chiba Chews.
And yeah, exactly. And that's the same thing I was gonna say. The reason I don't do the edibles that much is because of the pricing, and I need at least 100 milligrams. Because if it's less than 100, it's just not worth it.
Let's talk about how much weed we could buy for
Exactly.
that amount of money.
Exactly.
And that's what I prefer anyway.
Exactly. So that's why I don't do the edibles that much. You know, I like it when like a regular friend makes edibles at their house or something.
Yeah, buy me like a little cake square, put a candle in it or something, and give that to me on my birthday or
I
something.
think that buying them in a dispensary isn't very affordable. It's not the best way to go.
And making it yourself is so easy, and it's all over YouTube.
And it's actually fun. I mean, maybe not for the people you live with if they're not.
You just made some butter, right?
Yeah, I did, and it turned out really great. And I decarboxylated it, in the oven to heat it up to get the
Decarboxylate.
to get the THC
Fancy
kind of out.
Nancy term.
And I used Everclear as well, and so I kind of spritzed it. I was reading directions and waited for that to kind of soak in, and then when I put it in the crock pot, I added Everclear into that too. So it like soaked, and then once the alcohol, what's the word I'm looking for? Evaporated. Yeah. I had, my canna butter, and I strained it with like cheesecloth.
By the way, the alcohol is for extracting. It's not for
you want to get
effect. We're not combining your worst college memories with
you're
THC.
trying to get the benefits out of
You're laughing because you had some
cannabis.
bad memories with Everclear. Don't we all? Don't we all?
But
here's a chance to use it for a benefit. What? Oh, you're extracting.
Yeah, and I went
And
spacey.
it evaporated.
It evaporated.
Yep.
So you're getting the most out of your cannabis, but you don't have to decarb it. People still get benefits from not doing that, and I think that's the thing I'm going to try next is to see how I...
how much were you, how much? I feel like that's my biggest wonder.
You know,
I don't make them at all, so how much butter, how much flour, what's going on?
I'm trying to remember how much I used. It was...
And did you use
half a pound. I think I did half a
was
pound
it
of butter.
trim or was it
No, I did
baker's
half a pound of butter.
baker's
Damn.
batch?
I bought flour, and I used that, and I used the more sweet smelling.
I mean, was it a baker's
Wait,
batch kind of?
And what kind of butter is this? I'm so curious. Is this a tub? Is this the butter? Is this Paladine butter? What is this?
Well, if the brand was Kirkland's, Costco, affordable, bulk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
so it's a tub.
No, not a tub.
No.
6.
Okay, 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
So after I put it on a flat pan, spaced the flour out and everything, heated it up for a little bit. And then I spritzed it with Everclear, and then I took that after it dried, and I put it in the crock pot, and I poured more Everclear in there, and I put in the butter, and then it just heated up. And the longer you have it going, obviously the more that the butter is going to absorb the THC and all of that. But after that, after several hours, 5 hours, I emptied it into a jar. And I had a Pyrex jar with one of those lids that you can really seal up. And I put it in the fridge and waited for it to solidify after straining with cheesecloth.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned out really nice. It wasn't this super dark green. It was kind of a nice pale green. But it was very pungent. You could really smell it. It was...
Sounds
Yeah.
delicious.
So,
so good.
put it on toast in the morning.
I was going to say, I don't know.
I got some bread over here. I got a toaster bread.
First of all, so next time, bring some.
Bring some of this butter here. We're going to have toast during the podcast.
Well, I
Munch it.
hope so. You made half a pound.
Yeah,
Damn.
it was-
I hope you do have some left
Well,
over.
I didn't use a lot of flour, and that was the thing. So I thought it was going to turn out
So
really
how
nice.
stony baloney are we gonna be with a pallet of butter? Because I really don't need much food
On the toast.
I just wanted to eat them. But it sounds so good. It sounds like
Well,
like
I made
pesto.
peanut butter chocolate bars with it
Ooh.
because the cool thing is you don't have to really bake too much with the recipe, and so
My mouth is okay.
Oh, God. What are these rats? Let's go.
But,
Where do you live at?
the frosting, and you have a peanut butter frosting on top of it, and then a chocolate frosting over that, and those
How dare
you
you.
mix
Oh,
with the
God.
I will
This
make another
sounds
batch.
awesome.
Oh,
Okay,
God.
So anyway, Tess is stingy. What do you guys think about vaping? Vaping was me and vaping had a really special relationship because I used to have a job that I hated, and it was the only way that I could
Get you through.
Yes, and it was discreet enough to where I was definitely doing what I wasn't supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, it was minimal work, minimal pieces. It's almost dummy proof, almost.
Yeah.
Almost. I feel like vape cartridge technology is really new, so user error is why a lot of my shit has failed. Dropping it, first of all.
Well, the quality I don't know is all that great. Like, I've used a couple of vape pens that you buy in smoke shops and everything, and those didn't work out too well, but they are really cheap. But if you have the money and it's something you're going to be using like on a daily basis or, you know, a few times a week, to invest in a better, you know, concentrates pen, vape pen. Like, I have the Prism by Candy Pens, and it's been phenomenal. And
So that's a K-Pen one?
yeah, it is. It's a new one that came out.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. And they come with two different like coils.
Yeah, we didn't
like,
talk
they
about
have
that really.
one that's like the ceramic donut,
Yeah,
and then
it's so much easier to clean
they
than
have-
cleaning off some coils.
well, yeah, you just heat it up
Mhm.
and then like
And
with
just-
Q-tip and
it's
with
ridiculous.
alcohol, yeah, and it's super
Wait,
easy.
Karina, you're a dabber.
I do.
Dab
I
labber.
mean, I used to have like my rig and stuff until I broke it. And
Okay.
but I mean, if people have it, I will take a dab. I love dabs, but now I've just been like kind of cutting off the dabs for a little bit. It's just such
Dabbing ruins your tolerance. Like,
Is
so
it?
fast. Yeah, because it's so
You can't
concentrated.
do that.
So,
But
so
I know
if you're,
people
if
love
you're
it. I mean,
not,
you can.
Well, it depends. Like, if you're, because when you're dabbing from a rig,
Mhm.
you're definitely getting more of all of the benefits because you were able to heat it up hot enough for long enough and blah 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 blah. But if you're exclusively dabbing, if you were to just like stop and go back to flower, it would be you'd be just like smoking a cigarette. Like, it would just be like
Oh yeah,
speechless. Like, you know.
Yeah, that's why a lot
You
of
have to,
people
stop,
like a lot of
take
people that
tolerance
do the
breaks and stuff.
dabbing
Yeah.
like dab love it, and then
They dab
if you try to
exclusively.
smoke
That's
flower
why-
with them, they're like,
You're like, I don't smoke
Yeah.
flowers. Flowers doesn't get me high.
yeah, yeah.
I
So I'm
don't
like, I
feel
never
that
want to be
way.
like that. That's what I say.
Right.
When I see them, I'm like, I
Exactly.
never want to be like
I never
that.
want to lose my time rolling up my blunts or
Yeah.
like sprinkling my, you know.
Yeah,
I love
exactly.
it.
So,
It's me time.
and it makes my throat feel scratchy, you know,
It
whenever.
depends.
I
feel
think
like,
it's I feel that way
do you have
with flour.
tonsils?
Yeah.
I don't. I wonder if that.
Yeah,
I feel like I have no problems. Virtually no problems. Do you have
Yeah.
tonsils?
I do.
And
Do you
see,
have
it
tonsils?
only.
Am I the only person here that doesn't have tonsils?
I should get rid of them.
No, keep
them.
I was fucking miserable. It sucked. It was the worst experience. It was awful.
Okay.
Because I
well.
got them out when I was like 19 or something like that, and like after
Oh, the healing.
when you're
insurance.
yeah, it's a no. It's a no. Keep them. But mine were super infected. They had to come out. Like, they were touching.
Oh,
Like in like you, I opened my mouth. You could like see them in my throat, and it's like super.
Personal.
But no, for real.
So yeah, it makes my throat feel scratchy, and when it doesn't, like let's say I do. See, I usually only do the dab when I feel peer pressured to do so. You know what I mean? Because I usually try to be like, I'll pass. And then let's say it doesn't make my throat feel scratchy. I'm like, oh, this one must be really good quality because it's good. And I do it a second time. Oh, this one's good. They're like, here, try one more last one. I'm like, I don't know. And then they're like, oh, sure. And then I do it again, and then I start coughing. You know, and it's not like when you It's not like whenever I cough off if I like, let's say I take a bong rip, you know, and they're like, take a real big bong rip. And so I'm taking a big bong rip, right? And then right as I do so, one of my buddies comes from around the corner and does something clumsy or funny, like right when you take your deep hit and then you start coughing because you just seen that, you know, at the same time, and it makes you cough for a while. Now with dabs, it gets even worse than that because when I start coughing, I just can't stop. It's like little coughs,
Yeah.
like, and it's like 5 minutes later or something.
It reminds me of like sitting, like being in high school and like smoking somewhere and like constant thoughts of don't be a bitch, don't be a bitch, don't be a bitch. Literally wanting to cough my lungs out when people would pass me the blunt or whatever. My little virgin little lungs back then, but no.
Gotta get a drink real quick. Like
I'm like determined not to cough. Like I refuse to cough. Like
yeah.
I'll let out like one long cough like per smoke session. I don't know. Maybe I just need to
I mean,
listen
I
out.
think coughing is pretty good because sometimes I'll
I'm
hit
sure
you
it
harder
is.
when
Yeah.
you're coughing.
Yeah.
because it goes
I feel
through the
higher. I
Especially
feel
that
like
big bong
because
rip.
it's just
Yeah,
like when
yeah,
you're
yeah.
laughing, you feel lightheaded. Like when I'm coughing, I feel like I'm almost higher. I don't know.
yeah, definitely
Like,
feel
but I
higher
don't want to be
with the
into my
coughing.
cough attack. Yeah.
But not with. It's not like that with me for the dabs though. The dab coughing doesn't make me feel higher.
Dab
like
coughing.
like the
It just
flower
hurts.
coughing.
It just hurts.
It's just
Yeah.
frustrating because like little coughs. I'm thirsty, and then now as a grown up, I'm trying to not do what you were talking about in high school. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna cough, and so I just said to Dad, I'm like, I'm not gonna cough. It's like 5 minutes later. I'm like, oh God,
Lungs on fire.
you know,
See, it's the
I
opposite for
can't
me.
stop coughing. I gotta. That's why I'm like, no, guys, I'll
The
pass.
vape was much easier for me to use. Like
You know what? I feel like vaping made me cough in the beginning more
Yeah,
than even
at the
flower. Because now I can like ghost a whole like hit a flower or something like that. But vaping in the beginning had me. Maybe it was the temperature I was getting used to or something.
probably
Like
because there's so many different.
Yeah.
Like if you have it really high, then you're definitely gonna be coughing.
Yeah.
Um,
I had no idea with the first or some pin that I got recommended to buy. I had no idea it even had adjustable settings until I like went to the website like months later, and I was like, damn, I've been burning my lungs out for nothing.
Dang.
And it has like multiple settings, and then I've been and I was sacrificing taste too, because when you burn it too hot,
yeah.
you're burning up the terpenes too fast, and you're losing that taste. So
Yep.
whatever, lessons learned.
Now with the vaping and stuff, you know, I'll do that more out of convenience. You know,
Exactly.
if I don't want
Exactly.
to be, and I gotta go somewhere, you know, important.
Because
you
for
know.
me also, like I'm sorry, what?
No, I was just
Oh,
thinking
yeah.
about going
All the
somewhere
places I have to
important.
go,
I can't
yeah.
take flowers, so I gotta take vape. It's an important place.
But for me, one of my things to manage is nausea
Yeah.
and needing to eat when I need to eat and not being able to wait until my appetite catches up or whatever. So having a vape right there, being able to take a couple hits in my car before I go into Firehouse or any of my other favorite restaurants. I mean, no ads, but any of my other favorite restaurants in and around UNLV, Firehouse Tums, Chewy Boba, In-N-Out. Hello. Is it just me? I'm gonna look at it here. Okay. Anyway, I love all of those places, but I need to be able to, like, when I'm at school on campus for like 8 hours a day, I need to be able to eat. So, being in my car and
Yeah.
taking a vape.
Vape pens are definitely more discreet in regards to smell and then the pen itself. I mean, having a joint versus having electronic vape pen is a little bit more discreet, and you're able to smoke in your car, or if you're living with people and you don't want that
There it
smell to
is.
just be like permeating your room.
Right. Or they don't want it to.
Yeah.
I would love it. I would love
Then-
nothing but my entire house smelling cannabis.
Yeah, well, like I'm a mom, and
Right.
so having
Oh, yeah.
something that isn't gonna because my son has been walking around like town square with me, and he's like, "Mom, what's that smell?"
It's a skunk.
And
That's
it's
what they used to tell me.
it's
And it was crazy because they used to tell me that it was a skunk when I was little, but I had never seen a skunk in person. And I was like, so they're just like farting all the time and not showing their faces. Like, what the fuck?
they're hitting skunks just like around.
I was like, I've never
There's
seen a
that
skunk. I've seen
skunk.
plenty of possums and raccoons and shit, but never seen a skunk. But that's
Well,
what I'm
it was
smelling all the time.
skunk. It
Okay.
just-
I'm smelling that inside of my house. Okay. Anyway.
I remember one time, side note, skunk story. I remember one time I was on a road trip with like my mom, my grandma, and like some other people, I guess. And so every time we would stop at the rest area, I would like, all right, this is my perfect time. Everybody would go to the restroom, and then I would like had my one hitter or something like that. So I'd take a few puffs and everything like that. And then my grandma, every time we get in the car, my grandma would be like, I think we ran over a skunk. You must have ran over a skunk and stuff. She kept saying that over and over. I was like, I think so. I think we did.
Must be nice to get over on Granny like that, but
Yeah.
poor Granny. She probably thought y'all were killing a whole bunch of stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
And why are y'all? I would be like, why are y'all running over? Running over? She thought y'all running over them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what happens. Like if you run over one, like, and then that smell is just all in the air.
But
and
they
so-
spray it when they're scared or something.
I guess like if you crush it, it can explode and be, and then your car will just got
like a
skunk.
stink bug.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So every time she got out, whenever she get out, she would like get back and it would.
I used to play with bugs a lot when I was a little girl.
I did too. Climb trees,
Like,
find
yeah,
caterpillars,
yeah.
ladybugs, all that.
I used to like, this is I don't know how, I don't need help people, but when we used to like get worms out of the ground because I grew up
Did you
in
cut
Georgia.
them?
Yes!
Yeah.
Oh my god! Did you cut worms too?
Yeah.
It's not just me.
No, and like they
We
even
found
did
like
that.
pregnant worms.
Really?
Yes.
I've never seen that.
Are you laughing at us? I was super into it. I would not do it now.
Well, these are things that kids I don't think do as much anymore because everybody's inside and kids aren't
terrorize worms. I hope they don't. I just can't believe
burn
that we
ants
did it
with
too. Oh my god,
thing.
we were so dumb we couldn't figure out how to do it. We tried. Though. We definitely tried. Okay, guys. I think we covered it.
Yeah, so
I think you guys have a
thumbs
pretty
up
good
or
view.
thumbs down on the concentrates and vapes and flowers.
I love it all.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
alright,
I love
thumbs
it.
I
up.
think it's
What
good
do you
to
mean?
not close yourself off to
And part of the thing with me is this, because of, as a student, we all know as a student, kind of like the times of the financial stuff, I'm just mainly going for flower, but if I had like a larger budget, I would be trying more different products. Like if I had like a certain amount to spend per month on different products, I would be trying more different products. I'll probably start liking more different stuff if, I had a bigger budget to spend on that. But while it's the size that it is, I just stick with the flower for now.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention
So
that
I do want to expand my repertoire and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to be closed-minded to the...
No. Never.
I wanted to mention that Neuro Armour tincture that I use that was developed by a NFL player, retired. And he made it to where you can mix the stuff with water, so it's easy for anybody to use it, and you can buy them just strictly for CBD. So if you're like worried about buying like that crystalline isolate and things like that still have that little bit of THC, if you're worried about passing drug tests and things like that, but you want to deal with a way to deal with your pain.
Who is it? Kyle Turley.
I definitely
He
recommend it.
played for... Wait, spell it? Turley... Oh, we did not want the newsletter. Okay. PTSD. Cool.
Yeah, this stuff has really changed my
Kyle
life.
Turley.
I have chronic pain, and it's made me a better mom and a better student, made me more active, and so, yeah, I definitely recommend that for chronic pain.
Oh.
And that's the tincture.
Cardinal sin
Yes.
number 1. I'm not going to call you out at all. Just kidding.
And
It's
they
your mom.
have
That's important.
a couple
Hey, Mom.
different kinds.
Different kinds of tinctures.
Yeah, and I'll bring it. It is pricey, but it is so worth it. And
Tinctures are pricey.
I will
Honestly,
bring-
everything is pricey right now.
See, the only
It's
time
a
I tried
supermarket.
tinctures, like, somebody's got one, like,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Well,
ah!
oil-based, and like you're sticking it under your tongue, but the fact that you can take the stuff, drop just a few drops in water,
I just
Shake
imagine
it up
like
and
Jello
go.
shots, like just like at a party.
and you can keep it in
But
the
like
water
they're tinctures
bottle, too.
instead.
Yeah.
They're just like,
Yeah.
can you imagine going to like Spearmint right now?
Yeah, and he has
And they
different
have a
ones,
tincture,
nectar,
shots.
extract, and vape drip as well for
Yeah.
the tinctures.
Now, what do you guys think? Don't they got the eye drops? I heard that. Is that a real thing?
It is a real thing,
Yeah.
but I haven't tried it yet.
Wait, pause.
The eye drops.
THC in your eyes.
Yes, because like if you get inflammation, well, not so much THC,
But
but like the
It's
CBD.
CBD.
Yeah, so if you have like inflammation, like glaucoma, things like that, you
I
can use that.
wonder. I had the worst migraine of my life 2 days ago. I had to leave work early. It was so bad. The right side of my face was numb. Look at like
Yeah.
my whole eyeball. And my manager told me that my eyeball was like, not my eyeball, but like the area around it was swollen.
Yeah.
And I went to go look in the mirror, and I really like my face.
Okay.
Yeah, and I wonder
That's
if that
interesting.
would help. Because
Um,
I think my sinuses were affected by it.
okay.
So
the
if you could put
pressure,
a, if you,
stuff,
yeah,
yeah,
if you,
stuff
so if
here.
you could put a drop in your eye,
Yeah.
like I mean, it
I'm surprised they don't got the nasal spray. What? They don't have the
Nasal
nasal
spray?
spray?
sticking stuff up your nose.
But I'm just saying,
I
but
hate that
people
shit.
with sinuses, I figured.
I hate sticking
See,
stuff
I
up
don't
my
have
nose.
allergies, and I never get sinuses, but
had, like,
I feel for people
what's
that
that
do.
thing called? What's it called? When you
The nasal.
when you are dizzy. Oh my god, what's it called? What's it called? If you're
Vertigo?
dizzy. Yes, yeah, vertigo. I had vertigo as a result of a sinus infection, I went to the hospital and refused for them to stick anything up my nose. Like, that's how, like, I cannot have stuff up my nose. It makes me feel like, I don't know.
Yeah, it messes with your vertigo.
Yeah.
Like equilibrium.
But I figured they would. I still figured, regardless of that, I still figured the product itself would be on the market. You know what I mean?
Oh,
or
yeah,
is
it? They have. Yeah, they have. They have sprays. They have the eye dropper stuff. I also
There's
got a
something
hold
for in everything. Honestly.
Yeah, I got a hold of
Ear
a
cleaner.
sample of like TrewBalance's migraine cream. And
I've seen it's like the bio-free stuff, and you roll it on your face. Is that
well, no, this came in like a little tin, and it was like a lotion, and this one was for a migraine, like headache, and to be honest, like the migraines that I've been getting, it hasn't helped too much with.
See, that's not
but I get joint pain, and when I put that on my joints and everything, and my hands and my knees and everything, feels so much better. So I definitely recommend it for that. But as far as like headaches, I don't really know if it gets.
I don't know. This migraine felt like somebody was chiseling out a section of my face with a hammer. It was ridiculous. So I don't think there's no cream on the planet.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna talk about each individual, just like really quick, what our relationship to cannabis and wellness is, and then Karina is really going to be the one to talk to us this week about our topic, which we'll just skip that real quick. We're just going to go individually. So me, Jordan, ADHD. Squirrel. I'm totally kidding. That's not it. That's a stereotype. Yeah. I can focus, sort of. Go ahead.
So I think my main thing is a lot of people don't talk about it, or women with monthly, like our monthly cycle, women get cramps, we get nauseous. I mean, I do, and it gets really severe.
PMS beforehand.
Right, that too as
or
well.
Or just all the way
and
through.
Then, I mean, I get really nauseous, so, and I just want to stay at home all day, but I have so many things I have to do.
In the fetal position.
So, tinctures are really great. Some CBD with some THC in there work awesome. I put at least like maybe 2 full droplets, and I take 2 full droplets, and maybe within 25-30 minutes I am up and running. So that's always, I think that's my main reason why I use cannabis, is because every month I have to go through this different change, and it's just not me. So.
Thank your mothers.
Yeah.
All of you.
Yeah.
It's great.
So Tess, what's your personal relationship to cannabis?
Well, I have
and wellness.
I have chronic pain, and I also have sleep issues because of chronic pain, and then I have some anxiety issues as well, and migraines, and so I kind of use different cannabis products throughout the day to take care of those problems. And so like I'll start with like the CBD right in the morning to get me feeling okay, and sometimes I add a little bit of canna butter, like a very small amount, I call it a therapeutic dose, to my coffee, just to start
Call
the
it
day
whatever
off
you want,
good
girl.
without,
it's your butter.
Yeah, without being tired. And starts everything off on a positive note. But yeah, when I'm kind of done working or done with school, I will smoke like a sativa, just for doing stuff around the house. Because typically when I'm in pain, like I'm in bed and I'm watching Netflix, and like that's my life.
A lot of Netflix.
Yeah.
Netflix is life.
Yeah, and so now that I'm able to alleviate this pain, I've been getting a lot more things done and being able to concentrate in school and homework, because I'm not going, oh God, I hurt. Like, it's great.
Actually, my new shit is HBO Go.
Oh yeah.
HBO Go has like the entire Sex and the City series and a lot of other obscure things on there that I have been looking for a long time. So anyway, Deuvall, what is your personal relationship to cannabis and wellness?
Well, for me, you got
a whole bunch. You got it on the shirt. He's got his own merch, guys. We're moving in that direction.
We're
not that fancy yet. But
yeah, for me, it's as many of our audience may not know, I'm an ultra marathoner and triathlete, And so to do some of the races, I got to do like a lot of training, and that means like a lot of running and other things like that. And also racing is real competitive. You go really fast and hard. It's out in the desert, a lot of tough runs because I mainly do trail running. So it's not the easy road races, which are actually harder for me. It's the hard trail races that are easier for me. And with that comes a lot of pain and stuff like that, you know, from just
Sure, your ankles and then
being out there.
Ground isn't even.
Exactly. You got to deal with a lot of that afterwards. So
Right.
a lot of it is for rest and recovery. You know, rest and recovery. I do use it, you know, during training for more like mental focus to help keep me mental focused, and that's another reason I use it at home when I'm doing my homework and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
It gives me
Homework
that mental
time.
focus, especially when I'm reading something, because a lot of times, even though in grad school you get to work on like a main project that you're interested in, but a lot of times the professor's going to assign readings that aren't necessarily related to your particular research, and you kind of got to look for a way of how it's kind of connected or how you can pull an idea from it or whatever. But it might seem
Half the time it's just their own shit that they wrote and they want to promote it, but that's another story for another day.
and if it seems uninteresting, if you take a puff, for me, if I take a puff, I could start to really take another perspective of it.
Or maybe
you know?
I could actually get into it. Like
Yeah.
maybe I was like, okay, I never thought it was going to be this interesting.
Right.
But, you know.
Because if you read it and it's boring, you'll forget it.
Yeah.
But if you read it and it's interesting, it's going to stick more.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
maybe you're more inspired or think of something on your end.
I think
you
you're
know.
you're more open
Yeah.
to accepting what's in front of you, I guess, and
Making it work.
yeah,
You're more-
instead
definitely
of
more
just being
willing to
like,
make it
oh,
work,
this
yeah.
this sucks, and being closed off to it. It allows you to think more.
Personally, one of my favorite things to do is to come home and like do my homework outside. I feel like I'm somebody like that needs a change of scenery. I cannot study in the same place over and over
I'm
again.
the
Either
same way.
either I hyper focus in one direction, like I'm a library rat. I will stay in the library for like 12 hours at a time, but I also every once in a while like to change up, especially when the weather's nice. I love to sit outside and do my homework. I'm so much more inspired when I'm outside, and I'm talking about anthropology and Spanish. Like it doesn't really matter. I'm not talking about trees and whatever. But I love smoking and being outside and feeling like I'm
Connected.
yes to something. Yeah, it just makes it a little bit more interesting than just like sitting at a desk and like, you know, typing away at some boring ass essay about some bullshit.
But the light's just draining the life out of you.
Exactly. You know, make it interesting.
But
It's
too,
an hour to come.
doing your homework and things in your room, especially if it's not like super clean. Like I don't know if anybody feels that way, where like they're like, okay, everything's cluttered
Super
and I
clean.
can't concentrate. Like
Yep.
I gotta,
Anybody
like,
who keeps
Bing,
their
bing,
room,
bing, bing,
anybody that
bing,
listens
bing,
to this podcast and cleans their room like constantly, it's never dirty. Send us an email with like, just tell me because you don't exist.
What's
You're
your
not real.
secret?
Yeah, right. What strain are you smoking? Let us know.
Yeah.
There's
so
nothing that motivates me that much. But we got moms here.
definitely helps get the place, you know, cleaned up. I feel like whenever I have a puff,
Oh my god,
just
and some
knock
good
those
music, a
dishes
good
out.
playlist. Yes.
You know what I mean?
The dishes
Then boom,
become
boom.
fun.
Do-do-do-do-do.
I'm making
I
dance
can
parties.
wipe
Yes.
everything down. It's looking nice. Yeah.
Yes, I love it.
So it's helpful for that,
so
and that helps
definitely
for mental
all this.
peace
Oh,
and
yeah.
calmness when you got your place cleaned up and everything like that.
And when you're feeling like you accomplished something and you were in a good mood throughout, because like you can get the dishes done, or you can get the motherfuckers done.
Yes.
And it can be fun.
Yeah.
You know, like it could be whatever you want it to be, and I just feel like it makes the mundane task that you have to get done, because I will neglect a lot of things during the semester, a lot. And at the end of the semester, I'm looking around like, oh my god, like I haven't paid anything. I haven't paid for this.
You've
Or
got, like a huge stack
my,
of mail.
you know,
they
my
haven't
car
gone
has like an
through.
inch of dirt on it, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, you know, let's knock these things out. Let's get motivated to do it. So our wellness segment this week is brought to you by Karina. So the topic is menstruation frustration. So just tying into Karina's personal tie to wellness, and she's gonna talk to us about specifically, more elaborate on like what she was talking about earlier with tinctures and how she manages, and guys that are listening, either you like a girl or you
Or with a
girl or you
know
like a boy, and you but you definitely came from a girl. So everybody should be listening. This is necessary for life. So, and we're all adults, so hopefully. So just deal with it, guys. You should definitely. We're gonna talk about it like rather scientifically, but I mean this is
science.
This is yes, science. So this is but this is Karina. So take it away.
Yeah, so, well, like I was saying, I usually use some tinctures because every month, every woman has a menstrual cycle, and we get cramps. I know I get it really bad. I get really nauseous. I sometimes throw up. It's like, it's a lot of pain.
It impairs me from doing stuff. Like,
right.
It stops me from
my
doing
back,
stuff. Yeah.
my body hurts, my legs. I just want to stay at home. It makes me tired, and before that, some PMSing a little bit here and there. So that always helps me out. When I do start my period, I have tinctures, and it has CBD and THC in there, and I just wait like 30 minutes, and then I'm up and running again.
Is it a 1-to-1 ratio?
Usually it's a 1-to-1 ratio. Sometimes the it just depends. Like my friends made some tinctures, and those were the best ones. But like the ones at the like some dispensaries.
Now, how much are those at dispensaries?
Usually run for like 40, 50.
Really?
40, 50
well, what kind of?
Just depends.
But like, what is the milligrammage on it that you're talking about? I feel like that's expensive. Is that just me? I feel like more like 20, 30.
Well, like the bottle that I get,
and how big are they?
Mine's like that big, but mine will last for at least like 2 months about.
Yeah,
because
I think
mine's got like 500 milligrams, I think, of it's
see.
a 500 milligram dosage. So like if you use like the amount of drops, like the 20 drops, I think is what they tell you to, then you're getting like the large amount.
Right.
So.
But I mean, mine it has been lasting for a while now.
Yeah.
You just use a few drops at a time.
No, so the whole full droplet, I'll do like 1 or 2 just because my tolerance is pretty high with like edibles
a whole
and
dropper
flour.
thing.
A whole full droplet.
Like the dropper. Like the
Uh-huh.
hole to the top.
So
most of them have measurements, and instructions about how many dosages or whatever's are in them.
Or sometimes I have one that's just CBD, and then I have one that's THC, and I get those, and I combine those two together.
So really quick, we've been talking about like THC and CBD, and I think we all agree, we were having this discussion earlier, that, because we all know, at least I don't know how much our listeners know, but CBD is non-psychoactive, and THC is the psychoactive part that gets you high. But in combination with THC, CBD has some really great medicinal effects, and on its own it does as well, but definitely in combination with THC, it's kind of like the catalyst that kind of gives the CBD its boom boom in your body.
Yeah, I kind of almost think of it as like a mood and body sort of thing.
CBD affects your mood. It's anti-inflammatory. It's got a bunch of medicinal properties, which.
But they also
great
don't test for it. So if you're just only able to use CBD,
you're super clear.
Yeah, you're good. You just have to make sure that you're careful with what products you're buying,
right?
Because some stuff still has that very small amount, but you can get products without THC.
Right.
So I wouldn't rule cannabis out just because you can't use the THC.
So my go-tos, personally, like I get cramps, but like literally throughout the duration of my period, like just through the whole thing. And not really so much like before and after, but they're so intense during that it makes the inside of my legs go numb. Yeah. And so like I've been coping for years with like heating pads and like all that kind of, who wants to put on, like, first of all, when you do still have your period in the summertime, so I don't want to add heat to myself. It's 120 degrees outside and I'm already fucking sweating in my house.
Yeah.
And so like it's gross. I just feel gross already. So So then I was like, well, maybe it can have the same effect if I. And then they tell you that like exercise makes it better. No, fuck all that shit. But
You don't want to exercise.
exactly. Who wants to? I could barely get
want
up.
chocolate
Like
and
no, like I
Netflix.
just honestly the only thing that makes me feel better is like standing directly underneath my shower head and crying for 20 minutes. But once that's over and you've wasted all the hot water, my go-tos are typically still like the what are they called? Like the ones that Shaq promotes, the little heating pad things, the heat wave, whatever. The ones that you can like bring with you. But recently, like a Synergy balm, like a balm that like some kind of like topical.
Like a bath bomb?
No, just like a cream.
Oh, okay.
That topical that could at least like make me feel like if I'm not actually solving the cramps, like loosening up the muscles or something like that. So what are your go-tos, Karina? Like what products are your go-tos? Like when you first feel that like wave of nausea or whatever, like what is the first thing you grab on the side of the bed or what do you always have with you?
You know what, to be honest, like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, I met the Grower Circle and their friends made some tinctures and they gave it to me. And I think that's the best tincture that I've ever had, and I save it in my little cabinet, and I use it right when like I have the worst pain ever. That one always helps. And then I also have Tikum Olam. I don't know if you guys heard of it. Really great product. Tikum Olam. So it's
Matata.
Yes. So
What is
it's
that?
and it's an Israeli brand based off in Israel. They've been doing medical marijuana research for the cannabis plant for over like maybe 7 years. So they've been like a big pioneer in the medical field.
Really quick. All the stuff that we know about cannabis is really like just like scratching the surface because it's not federally legal. We don't have any like big funding behind a lot of research. So
But
what we know is like
do.
really, but in Israel they are one funded and two doing a lot of research. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So let's see. Anyway,
Israel.
so Tikum Olam, they have 6 different flowers, and they base it off all of their products within those different flowers. One's just CBD, the other one's CBD and THC, and I have one that is just CBD tincture, and that's a really, really great one. It tastes really good as well. So a lot of people.
Is it glycerin based?
I think
Wait,
so.
what's the like texture like?
It's just. Well, it's very thick.
Okay.
And it tastes really sweet.
I don't like those glycerin ones, like even the elixirs and stuff. Has anybody tried those? Because it almost causes this burning in the bottom of my
Yeah,
my
I
mouth.
feel
I don't
like
that.
I'm intimidated by putting something underneath my tongue.
Yeah,
I think I had that before.
Yeah, I didn't care for that feeling.
I had that before. I had that. That's what it was. It was like a burning under there.
CannaPunch, but that's a little different. That's like
I
more
do like
drinks.
that though. I do like
I haven't
that.
tried those, but I've wanted to.
I do
They're
like
a little
that.
deadly.
No, and don't forget about the Z juice.
I have
Z
not.
juice.
Yeah, the Z juice.
What's
I don't know if you
Sounds
guys.
like Mike's secret stuff from fucking Space Jam. Sounds amazing.
Well, I don't know if you guys
Z
seen that Vice episode with like 2 Chainz and Cheech and Chong, with the guy
No.
Tommy Chong and
No.
another guy, and there was a celebrity chef in there, Zairilla Bacon. Anyway, she's a famous celebrity chef, and she cooks cannabis food for like celebrities and stuff. And she was on the show. Anyway, she's got some Z juice that's like Kool-Aid, 100 milligrams. And that's the one. That's my go-to drink, you know.
Z juice. I
It
like
sounds
that.
super not legit, but it sounds legit.
Z juice.
Okay, so I mean, I'm gonna check that out. I don't know. Every time we talk about edibles, I just really want that butter. Like I just cannot keep it.
Well, you
Thinking
can
about
freeze it too, and so like
oh my
yeah,
God.
I mean,
it just sounds like I love like flavored butter anyway. Like when you go to those make your own pizza places and they have like I hate to get the red sauce. They have so many of those fancy like non-red sauces like
the
pesto.
Alfredo type.
I love it. That sounds so good. Can you imagine that butter on like a crust of a pizza? Can we order a pizza?
I don't know. Can
Anyway, I hate like to order pizza.
I like doing it on the phone.
So, thanks, Karina, for talking about your frustrations with menstruation.
Yeah,
And thanks to me and Tess for somewhat opening up about menstruation. I'm going to say that only one more time. Deuvall, thank you for listening to us talk about menstruation. If only for like a little bit. So I hope somebody out there with a working uterus is listening and
Or
benefits, or not working, or cramping, or whatever sort of uteri.
Is that a word?
Probably not. Is going to benefit from some of those tips from Karina. This episode of the CannaCampus podcast is brought to you by the DivaDarling. Do it boldly and do it with class. The DivaDarling is a convenient and compact, flameless lighter. The DivaDarling comes in gold, platinum, ruby, and sapphire, and is the perfect accessory for the woman who lives like everyone's watching. Check out DivaDarling.store for your new favorite smoke accessories and paraphernalia. Follow the DivaDarling on Instagram at thediva.darling for updates on new product releases. So now we're going to move into our listener questions. If you have any questions you want answered, please email them to CannaCampusPodcast@gmail.com. That is CannaCampus podcast@gmail.com. And this is, we don't have any listeners. Yet.
We do have listeners.
We do have listeners.
But we didn't.
They're
the thing,
coming.
One of our things is we didn't really ask them to ask questions in the last episode. That's
true.
That's why we didn't have any
true.
questions prepared this time.
That's
but
true.
now.
But we have questions. Well, today we're just going to ask questions like of each other. I thought there'd be like some fun like icebreaker type questions. But you guys can ask us any kind of questions you want. What was your question earlier, Tess? It was like,
well, I'm new to cannabis, compared to, I guess, most, well, all of you guys. Yeah, exactly. And so I never purchased it on the street, or however you would word that.
Yeah, on the street.
Okay. And
the black market.
Like, the gray market.
The gray market is gray and black.
Gray market, I like that.
Or brown.
So, like, I was wondering if you had the same strains out there, or if you had, like, a very small selection to pick from versus, like, the dispensary.
So we're definitely expecting our listeners to be mostly college students, but, I mean, you'd be surprised how many people, like, smoke weed or, like, are stoners and really don't know the first thing about weed. And we're not experts by any means, but we do have some experience, and we are affirmed by our research and club membership or whatever that we're kind of moving in the right direction. So we're not experts or anything, but we do have some questions I think that we could answer. But today we're going to have a fun one because this is our first listener question. We're all going to be listeners. But the question is, what is your most embarrassing cannabis-related story? The one about the skunk was pretty funny, but dig a little deeper. I haven't even thought of one, to be honest, but think of like an embarrassing cannabis-related story. I started smoking weed a long time ago. So there have been a couple times where I have been like super high and come home and not expected somebody to be awake or something like that, and having to like act, quote unquote, act normal. And in my head, I'm just like, moo. Like, I'm just literally just like fucking like dead in the head or whatever. And I'm just like, hey mom, like, how was the pork roast? Or whatever. Like, it's just like, you know, how is it going? Like, act natural. It's like that meme of SpongeBob where he like looks like stupid like this. Like, it's just like, yeah, I feel. But
I don't know, I think my probably most embarrassing had to do with an edible. It was a brownie, and it was from California.
Oh boy.
And originally, like, I didn't know, I figured this stuff hits you, like, pretty quickly. But no, it was, like, later on, so I was, like, eating more of it, and then later it all hit me. Oh, yeah. And I was, like, high for a day and a half.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I was just, like, I was laying on the couch, my dad is just like, what is going on with you? I'm like, I can't do anything. Like, just let me lay here and die.
I love it. I love going overboard on, well, not, I love going overboard, it's not, like, a great thing, but, like, everybody goes overboard on alcohol. It's, like, expected. But, like, everybody's making this big deal about going... Everybody has to go overboard on edibles, like, one time. Just,
and I think it's much easier to recover from that versus alcohol. Like, for me,
you
alcohol...
have to, like, get your stomach pumped or something like that because you gotta squirt it home.
Rehydrate.
Brandy. I'm kidding. I don't know anybody named Brandy. But anyway, I thought of a story real quick. So, when what was it? I don't know, was it a couple years ago? I've been here since 2013. I guess it was a couple years ago at this point. Anyway, I don't know what I was doing. I was just really high by myself. And I really love mochi ice cream. It's something I discovered when I moved to Las Vegas. It's like, do you know what mochi ice cream is? Mm-hmm. We all know what mochi ice cream is. You don't know what mochi ice cream is? Because mochi ice cream it's ice cream. It's like, you get it at dessert, like all you can eat sushi. And it's good as fuck. First of all, it is so good.
It sounds delicious.
It's like coated in it's a little ball of ice cream, but like coated in the same flavor rice.
It's like a gelatiny.
It's like
I
rice.
Think I might have had some.
Okay,
coating. Okay, I think I know what you're talking about.
It's so good. Oh my god,
now
it's
I think
so
I
good.
know. Okay.
Anyway, so you can. I thought you could only get them. It was like one of those fancy things you could only get at the end of your dinner. All you can eat sushi. Whatever. So then I discovered next to my nail salon this Asian market. I just went in there one day just to see, and lo and behold, in the freezer were the mochi, literally the same exact ones that I get at the all-you-can-eat sushi place, and they come in like 6-packs. Well, I love it so much, and when I love something, like I really like indulge in it. So I bought like 4 boxes and got so high and literally ate all of them.
All 4 boxes.
Each box has 6 pieces.
So 24 mochi balls later.
Dang.
Is that right? 24? Yeah. So, yeah. Fuck. That's a lot. Anyway, so, and then I had literally that like moment of shame after I looked at like the damage I had done. I literally sat in my bed and ate 24 mochi ice cream.
Dang.
Oh my god, it was a wrap for my stomach after that, and my toilet. Oh my god, it was so bad. My stomach hurts.
Oh, I bet.
It was wild. It was really, really satisfying for about 20 minutes, though. And then I felt guilty.
When the fun stops.
Yeah, when the fun stops, right there. But anyway, embarrass yourself, Karina. I just did myself.
I mean, I think edibles, the big
edibles
one.
be fucking it up.
Yeah.
I turned those mochi into edibles.
Mm-hmm. Like, I think when I was in Colorado, I got a CannaPunch, and that's why no more CannaPunches
You
for
drink
me.
the whole thing?
I drink the whole thing.
Oh
I
my
drank the
gosh.
whole CannaPunch before my flight.
Oh my
back to
god. Do
Vegas.
you know that makes it worse, too? Being in the air, like, makes your high worse?
Well, I got on the plane, and I was next to this guy, and I go, hey, man, I had to let him know I feel really sick. I might throw up. And we were
Karina, if you told me that, I would be like, excuse me.
we
gotta, it's gonna be a no. It's gonna be a no.
Move me to first class. Move me to first class.
I'll sit next to the flight attendants in the back.
And I was like, I gotta let you know. And I just felt it coming. I grabbed the bag and I threw up. And so I went to the back and all the flight attendants were like, walking back. They wouldn't touch me. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm real sick. Food poisoning.
Food poisoning? Yeah, it's not why
I gotta get off this plane. So they grabbed my stuff and I was back in Colorado. And I was in the airport for like 3 hours. And then I got on the next flight. I was really sick. I was very, very sick.
What was the guy's reaction next to you?
Well, he was just like shocked because right when I said it, I threw up. So I was like, I'm sorry, man. Like,
oh my god, he had no time.
It was really bad.
I would have been mortified.
So don't ever drink a big old CannaPunch or any type of marijuana drinks because it goes through your blood system just like
super
alcohol.
Fast.
So you gotta
right
really be careful because people don't keep that in mind.
And then when you get in the air and you get the higher elevation, your blood thins out and like.
And you really just gotta be aware of your tolerance
like
too.
Well, I think the thing with edibles is because you are converting it to something that is a different type of THC, so your tolerance might not be so high. So keep that in mind. And then also when you eat edibles, it might hit you like several hours later. It just depends on your
tolerance for
system.
edibles and your tolerance for flower are not analogous. They are not
the same.
They don't have to be. They're not the same. I know people who don't get a buzz off of like 200 milligrams. They just don't. There's just nothing happens.
Yeah, everybody's
But then
different.
they smoke a joint and they're high. You know, so it's like it's just not. there's a whole bunch of like science that goes into
and things like what you've eaten. I've noticed if I have an empty stomach, like that stuff's just gonna sit there and not do anything until I eat something. So it could be like 4 hours later I eat something, and then all of a sudden I'm like, well, okay, like now I'm feeling it.
So we thought you were skipping your embarrassing story, but you're about to embarrass your ass right here on this podcast. So here we go.
Well, one, I just want to say a similar story like that happened to me that you said, except it was more with alcohol, not the... So the alcohol, you got to be careful even doing the alcohol stuff and going on the plane. Just monitor, budget that, budget your intake. Because that similar story happened to me, but that's not the story. But it is an airplane story actually, and it does have two tie-ins. Because one, I had some edibles on an airplane, and it was just a few small ones. And I knew they were small, and it was just a couple 10 milligram little things or whatever, and I had them, and I just chilled and relaxed, but that's not the story. But on that same trip, on the return, though, because this is another travel story, I'm with my family, I got my mom, my grandma,
Your poor grandma.
The whole family, my son and everything. And see, what happened was I took these vape pens, and I normally don't travel with stuff. This was like my first time. I had put them in my suitcase and checked my luggage. So the luggage went onto the plane, and I had my 2 vape pens for me and my uncle, and then I had a few edibles, and I ate those while I was on the plane. And then when we were on our way back, we still had our pens because we didn't use all the pens because we ended up, somebody had some flour because we were going to a wedding. You know what I mean? Somebody had some flour there. So we just had flour the whole time, And so on the way back, I got my pens. I go to the thing. Okay, I'm going to check. And I'm with like my grandma, my little brothers and sisters, my mom, my sister. It's like everybody that's important to me in my life, my son. Yeah. And I'm like, yes, I'm here to check this bag. And they're like, it's too late to check it. You have to take that through the security now and everything. And so I'm like, oh no, I didn't think about it at first until we're like in the line, and then I'm like, I got these pins in here and stuff, and I looking around, everything kind of seemed like a movie because I see my grandma, I see my son, and we're going through the check thing and everything. Fortunately, everything worked out, but that was a nerve-wracking situation. Yeah.
I would have pooped my pants.
So
when I brought edibles onto the plane, it was the first time, and I was a little bit nervous about it, but I put it on the luggage that goes under the plane. And
you checked it.
Yeah, I did. So I made sure I checked the luggage, and I didn't bring it as a carry-on, but I took candy that looked like the gummies I'd purchased, and I just like mixed it in there and tried to hide it that way, but I was new.
It makes for a fun surprise when you open that back up. Which one is fucking which?
Well, I could tell the difference, but like when they do the scans, the stuff is like color coordinated for what that item is. So like all they can really tell is that it's like a food kind of thing. But they don't know what it is.
Right.
So I was just like hiding, because if you have like 3 little gummies.
BTW, we don't advocate none of this shit. However, but anyway, go ahead.
But I think a lot of people have.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, and
that happens every day
for sure.
at our airport.
And hello.
And they say it's
the
not their
buttholes
priority.
of all of these tourists, for sure.
I don't know if they go that far. I don't think it's that important.
I saw them get into the great. Well, not an edible. You're not gonna shove like a brownie up your ass, but like a.
But they might do like a suppository on their way out. Put that up in there. Get on the plane. Oh, I'm out. Right? I don't know. But besides that, I don't think they're gonna put anything else up there. I don't see the point.
He said, "I'm out." Ew. Anyway, so that's really it, guys. That's it for the main segment. We're gonna tie up some loose ends with what's going on in our actual club, our Rebels Can Club, what we've been doing lately. What we are about to do, where we're going, all the fancy things, all of our new events, all of them. I'm just kidding, we're not going anywhere. But we do have a couple things. Deuvall, do you want to talk about the 420 likes?
Yeah, we need 420 likes on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram by as soon as possible. ASAP.
Yeah.
You know, ASAP.
And right now, you can find us. Our Instagram is still
College
Cannabis Podcast.
Yeah, College Cannabis Podcast.
At College Cannabis Podcast. That might change. But right now we need 420 likes. Those can transfer if we ever get a new Instagram. But on Facebook as well. If you guys get a chance to check out Biggest Cannabis Magazine in this December issue, we are featured on page 66. Woo-hoo!
Yeah.
Like sound effects or something.
Whoop, whoop. Sound effect.
So check us out there. That's pretty cool. Deep Roots Harvest hooked us up with our printing supplies. I'm going to shout them out really quick. If you guys
Shout out to Deep Roots.
If you guys want to get on, is it when it's on YouTube? Your talk with Studio G.
Oh yeah, Studio G. You could go to the College Cannabis Studio G. Just look up UNLV Studio G or go to RedefineCannabis.com.
Yep. Karina attended a lecture by Sanjay Gupta recently, so that's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, he was on campus talking that stuff.
Yeah, he did mention a little bit about cannabis. It wasn't anything too crazy.
Yeah, it wasn't a whole cannabis
Right.
lecture, as far as I understand, but he mentioned it at some point.
He did say something.
Yeah. He talked about it for a little bit or something.
One about the Ace Analytical lecture.
Yeah, DJ from Ace Analytical came to the Chem department and gave a lecture. There's about 30 students in the room, all very interested. Only 4 of them were from Rebels Can. So we did try to recruit some of them at the end, especially the ones that were asking questions and stayed after to talk to the scientists.
Yeah. All right. Also, our very own fearless leader Deuvall won some awards recently.
Yeah, if you guys
films.
remember, Runner's High and Fahrenheit 42.0, which I got to show you guys at some point. It's a 15-minute short documentary about cannabis in Nevada. Mm-hmm. It was my final project for undergrad or whatever. It's been recently won an award in the Nevada International Film Festival. So, you know, you can find out.
Dope.
Yeah, so both of those got the Platinum Reel Awards. Platinum Reel Awards. So that closes out the year.
Cool.
That means between the 2 of those videos, there's 7 selections. It was in the main cannabis film festival. They were in the in a couple of other film festivals. So 7 different selections. More information about that could be found out on RedefineCannabis.com too.
Alrighty. We just recently had our club elections. We got some new position holders, and look, we're sitting right here. So we've got Karina, boop, 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 as our vice president.
Yes, thank you.
Congratulations.
Deuvall here, our president, Doey.
How's it going, guys?
We've got Tess here as our treasurer, Miss Accountant herself. And me, the girl that talks a lot. I am the public relations director as well as the director of this podcast. Jordan, that's me. That's my name. Okay. Next.
Solid.
The Budtender Fight Club, January coming up. So we really want people, one of the points of this podcast is to reach out to college students and get them involved in the industry. So how can you do that? Budtender Fight Club. No, it's not fighting. I don't know why people would ask that.
They call it Fight Club because you have to fight for a job in the industry, is what Jason was telling us.
It's competitive.
So, yeah.
Everybody wants to go there.
They were
That's
saying
true.
you get like a huge stack of resumes. Like
Everybody wants to go there. Everybody's that's already getting paid cheap money. They're like, I'd rather get paid cheap money in the cannabis industry than cheap money in the other thing.
For sure.
And they're ready to cut throat and get in there. You go to these job fairs, it's like 1 billion people there.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
It's like, no way, you know what I'm saying?
Yep. So
But even at a position that might not pay that much, there's a lot of growth that you could do there by interacting with this entire
Right.
community,
Exactly.
the patients, the regular
Yep.
consumers, the staff, the connections that you actually make. So sometimes people are willing to take a small little pay cut to go to one of these jobs so they can get their foot in the door.
Well, and I think that too, when you're working
it's
in
very
an environment
competitive.
that you enjoy, and maybe with people that share the same views,
Yep.
that you're not so much even working, I guess, at that
Right.
point. You're enjoying what you're doing, which
Yeah,
makes it
working
worth
around
it.
people that are like-minded. It's definitely a change in your feeling like you have to put on this armor of something that you're not.
And then a lot of people might think that it's like, in their mind, they work at Walmart or whatever, and it's just crap, and they think this is the answer to all their problems. If they go do it in a dispensary, they will be in paradise. But it's still, you have to do...
It's still work.
Yeah.
Right. So,
So
when
this
is the next Budtender Fight Club?
Yeah, the next one is January 21st, and you can just type in BudtenderFightClub.com. And remember, all of our listening audience gets a discount if they use the code UNLV. That's the discount code. You know,
UNLV.
Yeah.
Easy to remember.
Yeah. And
UNLV.
then you can go to BudtenderFightClub.com to find out more. But I think the next class they're going to be talking about Cannavative is going to be talking about selective products that heal. Keith is going to be talking about the entourage effect. The Cohen Medical Center is going to be talking about CBD recommendations. And they got cool raffles with some dope prizes, you know, for the grand prizes and stuff.
Yeah, their raffles are really very generous. I mean, the products that they have, and you get the raffle ticket with your purchase of the Budtender ticket. So you can buy more to try and increase your chances of winning these. But they had like expensive vapes. There's a glass blower that likes to bring his stuff in to raffle off. They have different products from the vendors who are there that day. Like I ended up getting the TrewBalance balm for migraines and pain and things like that.
Shout out to TrewBalance.
All right, so next, MJBizCon. You want to talk about that real quick, Deuvall?
Yeah.
I wish I had been there.
Well, there's a lot of things going on. Karina and I, we went to the Cannabis Lawyers Accounting Business Las Vegas chapter launch, which is at the Wayne Newton Shenandoah Estate or whatever it's called. And
too fancy for us.
And so, yeah, they just had a lot of stuff going on there. Wayne Newton himself showed up, and it was just like a networking event and stuff. I was out there with one of our friends, Tori, and
It was great. Free food. Lots of delicious food trucks over there.
Oh my god, they had food trucks? I thought you said they just had food.
no, a bunch of food
Coming
trucks.
from a truck, that changes my mind.
There's like 5 or 6 food trucks.
Yeah, they're
I
pretty
can pick which
popular
one you
these
want.
days for events.
I just love them. What kind of food trucks? Was like lobster roll food trucks? Let's just talk about food for one more minute.
I'm not too sure. I don't really remember.
I
How
can't
about that
remember.
pizza?
I can't remember now. This is good.
How about that
This is
pizza we're
fucking
putting the
good.
butter on? Thank
It's
you.
good.
All right. So that was fun. We attended that.
Yeah.
We met with the NSA, all student body to
All the student body presidents.
in Nevada.
Yes.
To talk about expanding.
The Cannabis Awareness Network and starting these cannabis organizations at these other institutes. So we let all the student body presidents know that we plan on starting these chapters on those campuses. And one of them actually reached back out to us and said, hey, we want to help you get this thing started at our school.
Yep. Anytime we have a weekly newsletter. Our club does, Rebels Can does, and 2, all of our agendas for our meetings can be found on the RedefineCannabis.com website, so you guys can keep up wherever you are with what we're doing on a weekly basis, what we're doing at our meetings. Dates wise, we want to mention some really important dates coming up for us. Our Get Involved Day at UNLV is January 24th, and Rebels Can will be there with a table.
We got a table,
Chairs to sit in.
chairs,
Shit to look at.
shit, all that.
So we're gonna be there,
Prepared.
prepped and ready, looking fly, looking official, like we belong. Woo! And then
We're going to be promoting, at that fair, we're going to be promoting the meet and greet.
The meet and greet is going to be 2 days later, January 26th. So anybody interested in joining Rebels Can, meeting any of our ugly faces,
Finding out more about it, just interactive and informal.
Any questions? If you forgot that discount code, it's UNLV. and you just can't remember and you just want to come all the way to Chiba Hut on
We'll
January
remind you.
26th, we'll remind you that it's UNLV.
Yes.
So come and see us on the 24th if you're on campus at our table. That's going to be insulated. Hey,
Inside.
amen.
Inside.
I just want to say that one more time.
Yes.
Inside.
We got it indoor.
Oh my god!
Because you got to be on it. You got to be on it.
Really.
As soon as that email
It's
goes
like,
out,
it's like
you got to
some
just
buzzers.
snatch
It's crazy.
it.
Yeah.
And there's
So
like
we
a little
snatched
calendar,
up
and it shows.
climate control table. I'm so excited. Okay.
Yes.
And then.
And so at the 26th meet and greet, there it's going to be at the Chiba Hut. That's just a sandwich shop.
That
it's
is on Sahara and Rainbow.
It's cannabis themed, but there's no actual cannabis or anything like that there.
So don't bring any.
They just have cannabis named sandwiches and stuff like that. And we're just going to be eating some food. There's a bar there.
There's a bar.
So if you're 21 and older, then bring your ID. Also bring your student ID because we got a student discount.
We get a student discount at Chiba Hut.
Bring your student ID.
They've got some really fancy, like, munchies that they call
really fancy munchies.
It's like
from the cereal
concoctions. They're amazing. So Chiba Hut, shout out to y'all for holding it down for us. Thank you.
Yes.
Last but not least, guys, we've had so much fun today. I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast that you can email us at CannaCampusPodcast with any of your questions. But I also mentioned that name is not sticking if we don't want it to stick. We've got a few things floating around. I don't know. I just got super high and thought of a couple things that I was throwing around. Canna Campus is one of them. But we want to extend the offer to you guys to help us. We want a name. We want a cool name. Nothing lame like I don't know.
Nothing lame.
Nothing lame. Period. Something cool. Something that has to do with college and cannabis, and nothing like too stonery. Like not whatever. I can't think of anything else. But shoot us an email and let us know what you think. If you really like Canna Campus and want to just pat me on the back for how creative that was, you can do that too. But that's all I got. Any closing thoughts?
And just one thing too, if anything we say ever we come out and maybe something that we read or something might be inaccurate or we come across some fake news or something, just send us an email, let us know. We'll get on another episode, you know what I'm saying? Bring you guys up to speed and, we want our audience to be the most informed, so we want to bring you accurate information. So if you hear something that you've got a question,
tell us what you think, be honest, be...
And we want to make the show better too, so if you guys got suggestions and stuff you guys want to hear,
But if you're going to come at us with some constructive criticism, spell it all right. Don't come at me with the comments spelling shit wrong.
Do we need to do any kind of disclaimer about?
Oh, that'll come in the beginning.
Okay.
That'll come in the beginning. We'll record that later.
Okay.
Anything else, guys? Karina, appreciate it. Deuvall,
this is a pleasure.
Always, Tess and Jordan. We're out, guys.
We're out.
Now you hit don't record.
Yeah, good idea.